Hello everyone. This question has been taken from Olympiad Pathfinder, multiple choice question number 26, related to Newton's law of motion, chapter 2. The question is, a pair of scissors is used to cut a wire which is having circular cross section held vertically. To reduce required force, the wire must be placed close to the hinge. But if it is placed close to the hinge, it slides away from the hinge until the angle between the blades becomes theta. Find the coefficient of friction between the blades and the wire. Okay, so let us discuss this question and try to solve it. This wire was kept first close to the hinge. This is your hinge point, means the scissor was widely open and it was close to the hinge, but when it was pressed to cut the wire starts sliding and came to a stop when these two edges of the scissor, cutting edges of the scissor, makes an angle theta between them. So try to understand the concept behind it, that what is happening. When it was kept close to this hinge and the pressure was applied here to cut the wire, the edges of the scissors which was pressing the cable was having the component in this direction. Okay, was having a component of force in this direction, and because of it, it starts sliding. But when it reaches to a point where the angle between the sides or between the edges of the scissors become theta, it stops. It means the friction force which is acting on the cross section of the cable which is in contact with the cutting edges of the scissors in this direction and in this direction counterbalances the force which is acting in this direction. So motion of this wire stopped. Okay, so here is the diagram which we magnified and tried to show. Okay, so see here what all forces are acting on it. So this is the cross section of the wire. N is the normal, N is the force which is acting on the wire due to this edge, because this edge is pressing the wire. So this is the N. Same way in this direction, N dash is the force caused by this cutting edge of the scissors which is pressing it, right? So this is N dash. Since the wire has a tendency to slide away along the cutting edges of the scissors, so it will have a tendency of relative motion along the edges of the scissors. So what will happen? The friction force will appear. Okay, so we have shown this friction force over here. From the top edge, the friction force is F. At the bottom edge, the friction force is F dash. Okay, and this force will be tangent to the N. Okay, and N dash. Okay, this angle is 90 degree, this angle is 90 degree. The entire angle given in the question as theta. So when we draw a line from this point to the center, because all this force and this force will always be towards the center, and friction force is perpendicular to this N and N dash. So when we draw a line from this point to this point, it will divide the angle into two equal halves. So that is why this angle is theta by 2 and this angle is theta by 2. Now in this triangle, this angle is 90 degrees, so this angle will become 90 minus theta by 2. This angle will become 90 minus theta by 2 similarly. Okay. So we are interested in thinking about the forces which is acting in the horizontal direction. Okay. So let us write the Newton's law of motion, equation from the Newton's law of motion on this wire. So since it has come to a stop now, so acceleration is 0, so summation of Fx means net forces in the x direction is equal to 0. It means the component of forces which is acting in the negative of the x direction should be equal to the component of force which is acting in the positive of the x direction. So in the negative of the x direction, from the diagram you can see that n sine theta 2 plus n hyphen sine theta by 2, and in the positive of the x direction the component of friction forces, that is f cos theta by 2 plus f dash cos theta by 2. So this we say as equation 1. And from the friction force definition, you know that friction force is always equal to the coefficient of friction and the normal force acting on it, right? So for F it will be F is equal to Kn, and F dash will be K into N dash. By mistake, N dash hyphen is N dash is not written here, so you can correct it in your answer, right? So from equation 1 and 2, we will come to a expression like this: n plus n dash into sine theta by 2 minus k cos theta by 2 is equal to 0. We know that n and n plus n dash cannot be 0. Why? Because this is the pressure, this is the force by which the edges are pressing the wire. So it means this expression should equal to 0. That is sine theta by 2 minus k cos theta by 2 is equal to 0. So from here we will calculate that k is equal to tan theta by 2. So if you go and see in the options, so option B, you find that it is matching with our result. So option B is the correct answer. So hopefully you understood the concept behind it. In case any issue in understanding, please write in the comment box. I will explain it. Thank you.